YouTube, it is the day of the new pack. We have Fire King, we have Supreme Gate, we have Valmonica, we have all that good stuff. We have Sky Striker, and I believe possibly most of it is within the top 16. I don't have the full top 16 in my head right now. I don't see it, but we have Fire King right now versus Pendulum. We have Exceed the Pendulum, which unfortunately she did get nerfed in her art. She did get censored, but beyond that, come on in, have fun, watch the video as long as you can. That greatly supports me. Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Titacon is back, that's right. Poplar on summon, grabbing the original Sinful. Original Sinful does not summon in Ash. It does not, well, it could summon in Ash if we did not use up our normal summon, but otherwise it's going to summon a Ponix. Not a Hydrant, Ponix is the way. Ponix is going to be our new level 1 fire play. So we have Poplar being sent to the graveyard to equip into the back row as we have the Ash to negate the summon of the Ponix mate. We're going to call up the grave, finger the Ash, negate. Now, let's perform our Fire King play and under Max C. So this should be quite interesting. We did not chain Max C to the call by the grave. We are summoning Ash instead of Ponix. We're adding Ponix instead. Ponix could summon from the hand if we have a way to destroy a fire monster. So had we not had Kieran, Kieran enables the Ponix to special summon. So, okay, we do summon the Snake Eye Ash. I stand corrected. We are activating the Kieran to do exactly that. But how much do we further cook? We popped the Ponix instead. So we were not going to pop the Ponix. We were going to pop the Ash to then trigger Ponix. But because of Max C, we completely changed everything. Set and end. Yep, let's go. You know, normally you would then Promethean, Reborn, that's draw an additional card, then link off with Promethean and the other card. That's draw 3 for a Promethean Disruption. Not worth it. Now, the Ponix being destroyed will add from the graveyard back to our hand, and it's ready to special summon if a fire monster gets destroyed. All right. We have the Dragon Shrine sending from the deck a normal monster and a dragon. The Dragon Worm's going to be reborning from the graveyard, activating to grab a Supreme King Gate Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. Negates. Now, exactly what that was doing, the Wings of Light will do instead. We're going to be summoning the Supreme King Dragon Worm as we, in response to that, summon a Little Knight. Little Knight on summon. Banish one of you fools off the field. To battle you go. You're big enough to take out a Little Knight? Yes, you are. 1800 attack. We have the Revolution Dragon searching our deck for the Supreme King Dragon Light Worm. Now the Wings of Light searching for the Supreme King Gate Magician. The Magician is what we would have searched for with our Dragon Dark Worm, that is. Setting up the Gate 0. We are now going to Revolution search it for another Light Worm, setting up the Pendulum Scales. What do we have here? 8. 0 to 8. From the action deck, we could summon one. We could summon the other one from the hand if we want. There we go. Now, the Magician on summon will be searching for the Soul of the Celestial King. I believe this is a fusion summon card, right? Tribute a spellcaster to then fusion summon. Yep. You have Electromite is going to be adding a card to the action deck, pop a card we control to then add from the action deck to our hand. That will trigger the Astrograph and the Electromite. We're going to draw a card and special summon Astrograph to then search your deck for a card that was destroyed this turn, which would be Lightworm, another Lightworm. I guess our, third copy of Lightworm? Yeah, we have 1, 2 in the action deck. Our third just was added to our hand. Shokaning to Exceed the Pendulum. We're going to be adding a card from the extra deck that is face up to our hand here. Thank you very much. Setting up the Pendulum Scale again. We're going to now use the other effect to special summon from the hand, triggering the Lightworm to grab back the Magician. Magician is going to be special summoning itself onto the field, getting a Crystal Wing Synchro into the graveyard to do so, as you then Shokan into Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon, which we just get into the graveyard to set up our Omni Negate. We have Little Knight. Very nice. It's all in main phase 2 right now. And now we're going to have the Odd Eyes Fusion Pendulum, which will be able to negate anything. So we have 2 disruption through the Little Knights and the Odd Eyes Pendulum, but then we have a fusion summon play with the Supreme Celestial King Trap. What do we do with that? I'm going to assume it's going to turn into disruption. So I think we have about triple disruption here. Wanted Seeker, we're going to chain the effect of Exceed the Pendulum. During the main phase, we're going to quick effect special summon a Pendulum from your hand or graveyard. Let's go. Between the Pendulum Scales of the 2 cards in your Pendulum, so it's kind of like a pseudo Pendulum summon. The Gate Magician grabbing a Wings of Light. Wanted Seeker, draw a card here, return a card back. It fuses with the deck and extra deck. Okay, a Branded Fusion Trap, that's interesting. Diablo Stars here on Summon Activate to set up from the deck. Chainlink block with a Poplar so it cannot be negated by the Odd Eyes Vortex. Set it up. Now we have the Fire Skyburn. What can this do? This could quick effect pop your Fire King monsters to pop an equal amount of cards on the fields. So maybe that's going to come into play. Original Sinful, send the Poplar, summon for the deck and Oak. We still have our normal summon with the Ponix. We're going to be reborning the Ash. Ash on summon, activate, grab a Poplar mate. We still have that triple disruption. When are we using something? Poplar adding a Divine Temple. Now we're going to activate the Celestial King. Look at that paragraph we're being hit with. We're going to fusion summon from the extra deck by banishing materials from your deck, your hand, your extra deck, your field, or your graveyard. Everything but your banishment pile is going to be used for the fusion summon. Let's go. From the grave, from the extra. What the heck are we summoning here? Holy moly. Supreme King Z Arc is here. Now, on summon, it has this tiny effect of destroy all cards your opponent controls. Not monsters, not just back row. Everything's got to go. Full field wipe. Ponix will trigger to summon from the hand after a fire monster was destroyed. We have the Odd Eyes Vortex, which is going to be negating and destroying the Ponix. Why didn't we chain the Fire King Skyburn? Maybe we just don't want to reveal that we're playing that. Possibly. You just keep that knowledge for the next duel. Hide it. And let's hop into game 2. Good job, TTK. Poplar on summon, searching our deck for our Original Sinful. There's no disruption in sight, so if you want to see what a full combo Snake Eye Fire King looks like, this is the play. What if we open a single Poplar and a Kirin? Okay, it's a 2-card combo here. Kirin and Ponix. Kirin and Poplar, this is the play. We're going to use Kirin to pop the other fire card in our hand. So now it's a 2.5 card combo. It just got a little bit more complicated. Ponix triggering from a fire monster being destroyed. Come forth and summon. Grab our Sanctuary, which will grab the island. And the island could pop a fire to search for the Garunix. Garunix will trigger, summon itself onto the field. The Kirin, after being destroyed, will trigger, reborn a monster from the graveyard, then pop a card in the field optionally. This is the non-target pop that would happen. Garunix will now destroy a card from the deck. What we're destroying is going to be of Arvata. Arvata will trigger to reborn from the grave a negated monster. Because it's negated, and I believe it dies during the end phase. Yes, negate and destroy it during the end phase. We're going to link off with it. Now making a Promethean Princess. Promethean, reborn a fire from the grave. Come forth and Shokan. Arvata is a monster negate. That is great. So an additional negate here. Negate and destroy. So what happens is, if we negate a monster effect and destroy Kirin, Kirin will then reborn a monster from the grave, then destroy a card in the field non-targeting. So we have that negate into a non-target destroy as our form of disruption. We also have Imperm. We have the Masquerena, which will go into a disruption, even more if it's an Apollo USA. We also have the Promethean Princess. We have about 5 disruption here. 5. Let's go. 5, 5, 5. All right, and you could also trigger the whale effect in the graveyard. It says if a link 3 or lower is destroyed, you get to then banish this card to destroy a card in the field. So if you wait for there to be a link 3 or lower in the field through its first effect that happens when destroyed, reborn a link 3 or lower, or Promethean Princess, you can now use Kirin to destroy that link 3, or you could use Arvata to destroy that link 3. Then the whale turns into a 6th form of disruption. So about 6 disruptions here. 5 to 6. Darkworm, reborn. Darkworm, add from the deck. Imperm, negates. So now we're down to 5 disruption. We do have Call by the Grave to finger a Kirin. That is big. Yeah, having double finger in Master Duel is something. We do have the Wing of Light. Come to me. Gate Magician Mate. We have the Flamebirds reborning. The Masquerena from the back row getting ready for that Link Summon play. Arvata's still ready to negate a monster effect. So we are going into SP Little Knight. This is going to be one of the 5 disruptions we have accounted for. Little Knight on summon, get banishing. Flamebirds reborn from the graveyard. Little Knight banishing the Gate Magician off of the fields. Now we're holding that called by. What do we finger? We could finger a Flamebirds, we could finger a Promethean, we could finger a Kirin, we could finger a Garunix. There's so many things you want to finger, but you only have one. Now, we do have Triple Tactics talent, which could take control of a monster or draw 2. We're going to be searching for a Fire King Skyburn to be used next turn. We're going for the draw 2. We're not yoinking anything. We have, so the Little Knight was already activated. We have 4 more disruption. Setting up the, what the heck just happened here? The Fire King Island. If this leaves the field zone, destroy all monsters you control. This is why a lot of players in the TCG were side decking Cosmic Cyclone. Why Cosmic Cyclone? Why did this field spell wipe this out? What is our protection from this happening? Well, the Sanctuary states that if your field zone card would be destroyed, you could protect it instead. Well, it wasn't destroyed, it was replaced, it left the field, and just like that, wipe out the entire field. Now, there's a funny ruling. You could use Unicorn to on-summon, spin your Fire King Island back in your deck, and it won't trigger. So that is a way to get around it, to get it off the field, so that this does not happen whatsoever. We're now going to be triggering our cards. The Ambler Whale reborning Little Knight, Arvata being destroyed, reborning the Kirin. I think we're now down to triple disruption here. We are fingering the Runick so it does not reborn to then destroy a Kirin from the deck to then pop a card in the field. Let's go, let's go. Let's count up the disruption here. We are going to have Promethean. We still have some way to likely go into a Kirin play. So I think we just have 2 disruption. It's all under Max C also. Yep. Kirin, pop and Kirin. This is our form of disruption. Reborn and pop. Get fingered, mate. Just like that. No special summon pop. We're going to chain Little Knight, which is another disruption that we did not account for. We just counted for the on-summon banish. So that, in a way, is another form of disruption. And what we have left is a Promethean Princess. Promethean is our only other disruption. But if Promethean gets destroyed, the Ambler Whale will also be another way to destroy. Now Promethean cannot be summoned. Boom. Nothing. Nada. 0 disruption. Open fields. What could TTK do? 1,200 damage. All right. That's what we did. And end phase, return the Little Knight back onto the field. We have the Ponix after being destroyed, adding itself from the graveyard during the next standby phase. Come to me. We're going to, reborn Kirin. Kirin is still negated, so if we do destroy the Kirin, it does not have the effect of reborning and then popping, but it was still too much for us to deal with, thus we are surrendering. Alrighty, what do we have here? Imperm, negate the Dark Worm. Is that correct? Who even knows? Maybe? I don't know. Can't finger Imperm. Triple Tactics Talent, also not activatable. The true power of Imperm on display. With the finger and talents not activatable, that was nuts. Kirin, pop Kirin to special summon itself onto the field. That unfortunately does nothing besides a 2,400 body on the field. But we can now Original Sinful, send to the grave, come forth and summon the Ash. Ash on summon, get searching. We're on summon number 2. Grab the Poplar, activate summon onto the field. Summon number 3, grab ourselves a Divine Temple, which the Ash will send the back row card to summon from the deck, a Flameburge. Send the Oak to come forth and get fingered. This play around Nibiru, which they do have Nibiru, is incredible if you don't get ashed or you don't get fingered. We just got fingered, and guess what? There's only one Snake Eye Ash. It's gone until we are able to target a Snake Eye. It's gone. It's gone. What is a good way to get back? How do we get it back? The Oak. Oak gets it back. Oak. But Oak's now in the graveyard because we played around Nibiru. So what the hell? Oak in the grave. We're going to have to reborn it with Promethean Princess. That would be the play. Promethean back on the field, then add back the Snake Eye Ash. Yup. Equipping Kirin into the back row. That's quite interesting. Off of the field spell, your normal summoner special will trigger the field to summon Kirin onto the field. But Kirin doesn't do something on the field. It has to be destroyed. So if destroyed by battle, it will then trigger to reborn from the grave, then pop a card in the field. We're going to be chaining Max C in response to the Dark Worm reborning. We're on summon number 1. Trigger the field spell, come forth and summon from the back row here. Kirin is here, try not to destroy it. Grabbing the Gate Magician. Triple Tactics Talent, taking control of your Kirin. We're still on 1 summon. Gate Magician, pop itself, set up the Gate 0. We're going to link into Beyond the Pendulum. With Beyond the Pendulum, we're going to get Veilered? No, we're not. Okay, hold on to the Veiler. Setting up another Pendulum Scale. The scales are negated until we Pendulum Summon. Summon 2, 3, Nibiru. We are Nibiru Zone, yes? Yes, we are. When does the Nibiru happen? We're going to affect Veiler, not the Beyond the Pendulum that's popping cards on our field. Goodbye to Link Kribo on our field spell. We are negating the Gate Magician. Now, the Gate Magician was activating to add a card that mentions the Zark from your deck. Now, at the end of the main phase, we're going to Nibiru the field, tributing everything off of that field. Or probably was at the resolution of the effect, because otherwise they could have made an Apollo USA to negate the Nibiru. So probably was that and not actually the end of the main phase. All right, off the top of the deck, we have Poplar, 1 for 1. Discard the Poplar. Poplar trigger, set up into the back row. We have summon number 1. This chain link blocks a negate. Ponix will be setting up the Fire King Island. The best play with Island, pop a fire, search Runick. Runick summons, then pops Kieran. Then Kieran reborns a monster from the grave, then pops a card in the field. It's nuts. There you go, just like that. Runick's trigger, summon into summon number 2. Pop a card from the deck. Pop Kieran, reborn, non-target pop the token, and how much damage is this? 7,400 lethal damage. 2-1, victory for Snake Eye Fire King. There you go, that is the play of the Fire King Island, just like that. Ponix, grab the island, the Sanctuary that grabs the island. Island pop Ponix, Runick's, summon, Kieran, reborn a fire. Could be the Ponix you popped, pop a card. Also, the Runick gets boosted by the card that you popped. So how big was it? It was 3,900. So it gained a decent amount there. Very well done. Let's keep on going. Begin Labyrinth versus Bystial Runick. So someone was saying to my 1-hour playtest, DK, you got so lucky. When I play the deck, I get Veilered and Ashed all the time on my Huggin. Well, you're not summoning Huggin in the draw phase to play around Veiler, and you're not summoning Cartesia early to chainlink block the Huggin from an Ash. You can't Ash this Huggin. Not possible. Because if it were to activate, why did it... Oh, there you go, it's activating. We're going to be chainlink blocking it, just like that. Arius is going to be setting up a card from the hand here. Very nice. Okay. The Welcome Labyrinth. It is activated on the turn it's set. Come to us. So chainlink block with the, not Cartesia, but you're chainlink blocking it with the other girl, the Quem. Quem and Huggin chainlink block. So they kind of look similar. And I thought she was Quem for a second. We're now going to Shokan into a Coral Dragon. Coral Dragon could discard a card to pop a card in the field, but more importantly, it's sent to the graveyard to now draw a card after making a level 10 synchro. We are going to get Nibiru'd. That will trigger the Coral Dragon to at least draw a card. We are also drawing 2 cards of the field spell, so draw 3. Let's go. Big Welcome Labyrinth. Nibiru tributing up that entire field. Very well done. End the turn. Come to me, Druid Swarm. So, you know, that was a really smart play that I do want to highlight further, which I was just trying to, like, understand in my head, because I was thinking that we were chainlink blocking with a Quem that didn't exist. But the fact that we activated Magna Hut, chaining the effect of a Runick card to ensure that the Magna Hut is able to chainlink block the Huggin from an Ash, that's a big deal. You have to know those plays to block the Ash. Ending the turn, all we have left is a Curses. Curses will be able to negate a monster on the field. So Ariana, boom, negate. But the problem with Ariana is if there's a big Welcome in the graveyard, they will be able to dodge the negates, but we don't have that. So we're actually in a decent spot here where we're gonna big Welcome. Actually, that's okay, Ash negate, that's good. It stopped us from destroying the field spell. Now, had this not been negated, we would probably be forced to summon a Huggin. Huggin would protect our field spell from being destroyed. But, I mean, like, what do you do, actually? You summon a Lovely, pop the Huggin, and then you trigger off of popping the Huggin to pop the field spell. It's like, we're gonna lose the field spell either way if we didn't have Ash. Reborn the Arius because you chained to a Labyrinth card. Arius could now tribute herself to set from the hand, and that card is activated to turn its set. Is Arius broken, or what? Freezing Curses to protect, but what I just said is gonna happen now. Wait, that's not, oh, okay. We're gonna, instead of Huggin, because you knew that Lovely pop Huggin, then Lovely pop the field spell, summon Gary instead, pop the field spell, can't pop the Gary, add back the field spell after popping the field. All right, cool. Ariana trigger, Gary trigger, grab the field spell back to the hand. Smarter than summoning a Huggin. Nicely done. Nicely done. Lovely is in the deck. That was an option to summon. Yup. Can be destroyed by battle, but not by card effect, but triggers when destroyed by battle to wipe out any card in the field, taking out that field spell. Very good. Very well done. We have a big welcome to return our Ariana back to the hand, which could trigger cards in the grave. We are going to Quem, send from the deck a Bystial Runick. We're going to be activating the Welcome Labyrinth, which no longer has the field spell to pop a card in the field. Come forth and summon from the deck. Lovely. Lovely wants to witness a monster leaving the field through a card effect of a trap. If done so, if that happens, we're going to be able to pop an additional card in the field. So we're going to grab the Dogmatica punishment by banishing it, and then we're going to punish the Fool. Ooh. Activating the Flash Fire onto the Lovely, so it's not going to be able to trigger in response to the punishment to pop a card in the field, so we're going to save her. Return her back to the hand. Okay. Ariana's going to resummon her back in the field. Dodge the pop. Ariana trigger if it were not summoned this turn, which it was not, so there you go. Resummon the Lovely. Lovely and punishment are still going to go through. Now, what's unfortunate here is the field spell is popping off. And had we Dogmatica punishment early and it actually went through, the Entis would be on the higher chain link as the non-turn player to in fact pop the field spell, stopping it from drawing cards, but then the Lovely would not get the additional effect of popping. But it does look like Cartesia is chaining to Fuse, which, what? We're playing Gangrenol to dodge the Dogmatica punishment, but now we're popping the Cartesia. So if we can't summon Gangrenol, what are we summoning? Bystials are also pretty good against Labyrinth. Banish their Lovely, they likely do not play another copy. So come forth and set, Torby summon itself onto the field. Ariana is going to draw, special summon the Lovely, the Runick field spell, return 2, draw 2. And the fusion did fizzle. It was not a proper fusion. We are now going to Entis, activate to pop the Druid Swarm. If the Druid Swarm sends to the graveyard, it's going to send the Lovely to the grave. We're going to chain Maxi in response to you popping us. Hug in, protect from the pop. Yes, protect from the pop. Druid Swarm is going to stay on the fields or a level 10 Synchro. And then we have Quem triggering to reborn the level 4 tuner, Alubur. We have Torby setting up a big welcome into our back row. And then ending our turn. Okay. We have Flash Fire wiping out the Lovely again, triggering our field spell to return 2 cards in the grave back to our hand. We're going to big welcome Labyrinth, reborn the Lovely from the grave, returning back to Ariana, triggering Lovely to pop a card in the field. But by the time it activates, we could draw into a Runic card to protect the field spell from being destroyed, or we could use Curses to negate. Curses, wait for all the trigger effects, then we could Curse, negate. Can we have her leave the field to dodge the Curse? No, the big welcome already activated, so it can't activate again from the grave to dodge it. Yep. But if we had a transaction rollback, we could have copied the big welcome to summon and dodge. No transaction in the grave. That is a big deal. Ariana on summon, searching our deck for a Lady. Lady will be special summonable, but only in defense. Wipe it out, leaving up the Druid Swarm. We're going to welcome Labyrinth, summon from the deck, a big Lady. Lady on the attack, we're going to activate. Why do this? Well, the Lady cannot be destroyed or be targeted, but if we chain the Torby right now before the damage step, we could set another card from the deck, thus protecting the Lady from being sent to the grave with the Druid Swarm. But do we even really care? I guess we don't. Druid Swarm being sent to the grave, send a card in the field to the grave. We're going to send the Torby instead of the Lady, which we made the Lady targetable by popping with Destruction. We're going to use the big welcome to trigger the Lovely right now to pop a card in the hand, but the Bystial could chain to it, but it will then be popped on the field, or we may just pop the field spell. Okay. The thing that matters is we force them to reveal their hand. We have full information to just pop the field spell, wipe out the field spell, and then this duel's over. Yep, field spell's gone. Game over. Let's hop into game 2. This is where Runick normally wins through the opponent surrendering. They should probably just surrender themselves. Or, you know, Labyrinth could finish the duel without forcing a surrender. Yes? Okay, there you go. Let's hop into game 2. Quem is going to be activating to send from the deck. We're going to be chain special summoning. Did we have Nibiru activatable before the Dissipator was made? I do think so, right? Let me know if I'm wrong. I think we had an activatable Nibiru before the Dissipator, right? Quem, Hugin, Golden Sword Soul, Tri-Edge Master, Bystial on the field. That's at least 5 summons before a Dissipator. And now we don't even Nibiru. Okay, we're going to set up a Trap Trick and Dogmatic Punishment. Now, Daruma's not the end-all, be-all, best trap to just deal with the field. If they are already on the field from a previous turn, Daruma's not good, because you flip them down, they flip right back up. Otherwise, if they declare an attack, you could then Daruma, that monster specifically, will be stuck face down. So what do? All right, we're going to Dogmatic Punish. Malong is going to return the Dissipator back. Dissipator can negate the Malong by returning the Karma Cannon back into the deck. Now, the Dissipator still has the additional effect of reborning a banished monster, which we don't have one yet. The opponent's banished monster, though, thank you very much. A level 6 with my level 4 tuner. That's going to be great. We are now going to Trap Trick set up a big welcome labyrinth here. Ash is going to negate the big welcome, mates. Now, what is the situation on Nibiru? The opponent summons, Baron to floor, even if we have enough summons to get Nibiru'd. Monster left the extra deck, Quem Reborn, the Golden Sword Soul, Tribute Dissipator for Lubellion. This works out well because with the Branded Regained, it could Reborn Dissipator from the grave if the opponent summons. Or counter my Destria, what the heck? We have an SP to the little knight is here. Are we locked out of our battle phase? We are. Battle phase locked out. We have no Runick card to trigger the fountain, but we could draw a card with Regained. If a card gets banished by the Little Knight, we could return it back on the deck, then draw into our Runick card to then trigger the field spell to draw, I think, just 1 card. 2 cards, draw 2. So we tried to bluff an evenly against a Baron to floor, but like, what are we gonna even do here? There's nothing we could do, right? The ideal play is to, lose, right? We lose. What can we do against Baron to floor? 7,900 damage. You really could not put up 8K? Ain't no way. Slumber, banish, trigger Golden Sword Soul. Yep. So also draw Golden Sword Soul for game, 1,800. Very well done. We get Arius only during the main phase, so that doesn't work. Regained also triggering, returning the Gamma back. It's within the battle phase, so we don't lose the battle phase. Just like that, Golden Sword Soul trigger, 1,500 that is, reborning the Quem off of a face-up card being banished. And let's take this into game 3. Stovey set discarding a Lovely. We now got a good amount of traps set here. We have a way to... Now, the problem is, when you open Lovely, she does not want to be in your hand. And if she's in the graveyard, the regular Welcome Labyrinth can't summon her from the grave. This summons from the deck only. You need Big Welcome to reborn her from the grave. So what do? We have the Branded Regain setting up with the Fountain here. Quem on summons, sending from the deck to the grave. We're going to Chain Link block in Ash Blossom. We're going to use Dogmatic Punishment to send an Entis. Entis will be able to pop the field spell that the Hugin will protect from. We're not Chain Link blocking Ash because we already have the field spell to be more accurate on that. Sending from the deck the Golden Sword Soul, triggering the field spell. Hugin will protect. We could imperm the Hugin. If Hugin is negated, it cannot protect the field spell from being destroyed. So I do think we add that on top, yes? First, we're going to Welcome. They're going to Ash. No Ash. Didn't imperm. You're not blocking the field spell from being protected by the Hugin. Huh? Was that a good opportunity to just wipe it out? I mean, it's just a draw 1. Holding imperm for something better. What is better? Regained is also going to be triggered here, returning the Hugin back. Ariana is also triggering on her summon to add from the deck a Kuklok. Regained is drawing a card after the return. We have a Cartesia on the field here, being special summoned off of the Golden Sword Soul. Magna Hut banishing, activating to add a dragon during the end phase. We're going to fusion summon into Gangrenol. Gangrenol is here on summon. We're going to send a Garura to draw a card. We love drawing. Further showconning this up into a Little Knight on summon, banish a card on the field or grave. We're going to go for that impermanence. We could dodge the impermanence to banish something else on the field if we want to. That's exactly what we're doing. Chain banishing ourselves plus the Ariana. We're gonna Coup Clock, get itself into the graveyard, so a newly set trap this turn would be activatable. Okay, sure. And if the Torby discards a card, that will trigger the Coup Clock to make the card... Ooh, so we're going... we're Nibiruing an open field for no reason. We're just doing it for flashpoints. What was this SSX tricky? You playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater? What is this? You Nibiru nothing just to be cool. Okay, cool, nice. Nibiru nothing. Set the trap, trigger the Coup Clock, reborn from the grave. Big Welcome Labyrinth can now reborn the Lovely to then pop a card in the field or in the hand. Oh, we held on to the Ash. So we didn't summon the clock back onto the fields. Huh? We added it instead. Okay, sure. Wait, Lovely's gone? Oh my gosh, she's banished. How'd you get banished? Where did she get banished? When did that happen? Bystial happened, right? Yeah, the Bystial Bystials are really good against Labyrinth, and they generally just play one. That's it. She's gone. Tip into the Flash Fire. We're going to be banishing off the top of the deck the Daruma Cannon, Flash Fire, pop in a special summon. Big Welcome, dodge the special summon Destruction. Ash, negate the dodge, mate. Druid Swarm Chain, banish the Torby, which only triggers after a monster leaves the field through a card effect. Goodbye, Torby. We still have a second copy, though. Lovely, we don't really have a way to get her back. How do we get Lovely back? Looking at our extra deck, do we really have something? We are going to return back the Banished Gamma back into the deck to draw a card. Thank you very much. We now have our curses activatable to negate our newly summoned Ariana. Ariana on summon, not only triggering the regain or reborn of Bystial, but also, no, we're not going to curses negate. Interesting. Holding on to the curses for something better. Chimera Fusion is the way. Oh, yeah. Wait, is it this one? Isn't it the other one that banishes from the grave to reborn her back in the field? During the opponent's turn, you can banish this card, target one of your banished lovelies. Yes, that is the one. It's him. There you go. Nice. I like that. We're going to be Chandelier, discarding the clock, setting up into the back row our Welcome Labyrinth. Serenir, banishing the clock from the grave here. We need our Dogmatic Punishment to get the Baphomet engraved, though. So we need a Trap Trick. But if we have to play 3 copies of Dogmatic Punishment to even make that work also, because you need a second copy in the deck to use the Trap Trick. But it looks like we're not going to even get close to that happening. We have the Little Knight banishing the Ariana off the field as we summon a Lady. Lady's fully exposed. Lady has no protection, no set cards making her indestructible. But she does have the Big Welcome Labyrinth being activatable to spin a card in the field back to the hand. Begone, Quem, to the hand you go. Now, we already used up our normal summon, so we're not going to be normaling that Quem back onto the field. A monster left through a trap, so that's going to trigger Chandelier back to the hand, trigger Welcome Labyrinth to set back onto the field. The Torby would have triggered if it was still in the grave to reborn. Cartesia, come forward, special summon. We're going to Destruction, pop that back row card, now making a Dispater. Now, Dispater could special summon Lovely. We could, if we wanted to be funny, steal their Lovely, reborn it back onto the field. Bystial Runick defeating Labyrinth. Bystials counter Labyrinth. If you are side decking in Bystials, it's going in for Labyrinth. I do think that does help out that matchup a lot. So there you go. Very well done. If you are disliking Labyrinth, consider playing Runick. Bystial Runick, not Runick Stun. Don't play that. We have the Airlifter, airlifting off, grab an emergency. You save Ash for the emergency or a Hydrant. Those are the 2 Ash effects that you should be using it on. Do not negate the Airlifter with your Ash. Negate. Now, what do we have? Completely ending the turn, just like that. Damn. Now, you have to, even though we know Hydrant's a better card than Lifter, Hydrant is not a 1-card combo. No matter what you think, it's not 1 card into Turbulence. Airlifter is. So there you go, negating that emergency off of a normal summoned Airlifter. Very well done. We are going to, but was this the correct play? Was Airlifter Search Field Spell normal summon Hydrant better? And it's kind of like the same thing. We'd then negate the Hydrant, but then we would at least have another body on the field potentially. We're gonna Diablo Star, activate to set a card from the deck. We're gonna Chain Impulse special summon for the deck. Ash is going to negate. Let's go. Set 4 sleep. Nope, there's no set and 4 here. Set up our original Sinful, which will gain us access to our Fire King plays, as we could summon a Snake Eye Ash, and then we could pop off from there. We're going to cross out Designate, negate the Ash Blossom Mate. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. There unfortunately is an impermanence to stop our big play. So what are we summoning off here? We're going Ash, not in straight up Onyx. We do have an open normal summon. Ash getting negated. That is quite disruptive. Now, we could do something pretty cool, right? We could normal summon Maxi, and then we could look at their graveyard and steal their Ash Blossom or Impulse, then make a Promethean Princess, yes? And then maybe we reborn Ash, then Ash could summon an Oak from the deck by sending the Promethean Princess, possibly. What are we doing? We're not doing that. We're not gonna normal summon our Maxi. Are you out of your damn mind? Why not though, right? Ash Maxi, we're not under a Maxi. You don't run Oak. Okay, sure. All right, let's go. Hydrant, grab Turbulence. Activate the Maxi before special summoning that Turbulence. We're now banishing 2 to, play right into it. Why not? Of course, you definitely play into the Maxi with the Turbulence. Turbulence turns into triple disruption. 1 special, giving you 3 disruption. They only draw 1. That's a good play. Set up the negate, set up the ability to summon a preventer to flip a card face down, set up the destroy. Triple disruption is here, plus the impermanence, so we have 4 disruption. Alert being activatable the turn it's set, thanks to the hydrant, grabbing an impulse. Let's do it. Now all the disruptions into the back row, so the triple tactics talent is not very good. We're gonna be return the Ash, grab the Ponix, and this limit to 1 is impactful. You normally could return Ash to search Ash, but not if there's only 1 Ash, because you search, then you return it back in the deck. You cannot search the same card you return back. Let's go. Ponix is here on summon. We're gonna chain Impulse, maybe still negating it, potentially. Yes, we are. We're gonna contain the Ponix. We're gonna dodge the contain. Damn. But the fire field spell must pop a fire, and we only have Link Karibo, so what do we pop? We're gonna have to draw 2. We have to draw 2. Draw 2 is our play. So dodge the contain, go into the preventer. The Sanctuary is here. Thank you, Konami, for showing some self-restraint on the extinguish, not being able to extinguish spell and trap cards. You did not play your talents into the imperm column. You did not do that. That did not happen. Okay. It didn't happen. Edit that out. Dennis, didn't happen. Okay. Fire King Island. Oh, yeah, you could, yeah. So if you pop a non-fire, you grab Garunix. Garunix won't trigger because you have to pop a fire. But that's the main play. You pop, even an Ash. Pop the Ash, pop a fire, search Garunix, special Garunix, pop Kieran. Kieran reborn a monster, pop a card in the field. And generally, I would say Fire King has that great benefit of the Kieran popping back row cards. Non-target, wipe out the Extinguish. Non-target, pop out the Contain, possibly. Very well done. Let's go. All right, next duel. Yeah, oh, wow. Imperm column El Mayo. Okay, not only has that happened to a lot of players that have topped multiple YCSs, we had a world champion player, multi-YCS tops, did not just play into the Imperm column, then they activated Imperm. It was after the Imperm was activated. The bubbles and everything. With the bubbles on the field, a world-renowned YCS multi-top player, world championship finalist, played into the bubbles with their droplet. We got the clip. You all saw the clip, okay? So even the top players at the highest level of the physical card game, with the physical bubbles bubbling on the freaking screen, playing into that column, all right? So you shut your mouth. Everyone screws up, even me, for example, on the World Champion stage. No, not me. 0 mistakes, but all of you, it's expected. Are you ready? Let's go. Poplar on summon, Impulse, chain to the Poplar, searching. We're gonna be summoning from the deck. If you don't believe me, look at my world footage. There's no mistakes, but there's a lot of losses, but they're not my fault one bit. Ash, negate the fire attacker, which is triggering to draw 2, and then discard 1 off of you adding a card, which could help you draw into hand traps here, which is one of the good reasons of playing fire attacker. Think about this. You could put Impulse and fire attacker into any deck. Any deck. So if they activate the search, you chain the impulse. If it's in response to a monster activating the field, you then just in any deck draw 2, discard 1. Some people had that copium. They were playing it in random decks like purely, just random decks. Now, we got the Ponyx setting up the Sanctuary, setting up the field spell, pop a fire, search for the Kirin, trigger Garunix. You search Garunix if you don't already have the Garunix. Garunix come forth, activate Garunix, pop a card from the deck, pop in the Arvata. Arvata, trigger, reborn a monster from the grave. Let's freaking go. Further linking this up into SP Little Knight. We're not banishing the attacker. Okay, we're gonna make it so we're playing around impermanence. This is fine. Promethean Princess is here. Reborn a fire monster from the grave, come forth Arvata, which had the effect to negate a monster effect and pop a fire monster. We then make the Ambler Whale, end our turn. What exactly did we accomplish here? What is even good about this? Well, the Kirin could pop a fire monster we control from our hand or on the field. So control means the field, and to special summon itself onto the field. So with the Ambler Whale, if destroyed, it reborns a link 3 or lower. If the link 3 or lower is then destroyed, you could then destroy another card in the field. We have Promethean Princess to then pop a card in the field, and the Garunix is waiting for a fire monster to be popped to reborn itself to then pop a Kirin from the deck, which then pop a card in the field the opponent they control. So we'll play it by as it happens. So Subversion's attempting to turn off Promethean Princess. A regular Snake Eye deck, that's it, they're done. If there's just an Ambler Whale and the Subversion happens here, they're not gonna have Kirin to play around the Subversion. So this is where we're seeing that difference of pure Snake Eye versus Snake Eye Fire King. Pop the Ambler Whale, let's go. If we have a Wolf, Wolf would be rebornable. Like, we don't want to reborn the Promethean off of this. We're gonna Garunix trigger, but the Ambler Whale does not state that it has to be a fire link 3 or lower. So the Ambler Whale reborning an SP Little Knight, just getting her into the graveyard, that is crazy. Garunix reborn, Little Knight reborn, all off of this Kirin, poppin'. Garunix pop from the deck, a Kirin. Kirin reborn Arvata, which is a monster negate, plus pop the fire attacker. We have a negate, we can negate that. Negate, just like that, negate. All we had was an Ambler Whale and a Kirin, and now look at the fields. We're negating, we're popping. That was a pretty good showcase of Fire King, if I do say so myself. In response to that Subversion, having all of that afterward, beautiful. Write that down, screenshot it, rewind it. Why is Fire King good in Snake Eye? That's why. 59, extra consistency. Grab the air lifter, holding on to the ash. We are going to be ashing what exactly? When do we ash? Poplar trigger, come forth and summon. We're not maxing until there's a body on the field to play around a gamma. We have the cross out designate, negate that maxi mate. And now we have the ash, which will be good. There is a mindset where if you hold your maxi, hoping that they finger your ash instead, you then maxi afterwards. So you would maybe try to ash early and then maxi after they negate your ash, right? But, you know, maxi could get negated by an ash. So they could finger ash and then ash your maxi. Well, actually they can't if they finger her. If she gets fingered, then your maxi is extra protected. So I would really like to see some players with that mindset instead of the whole discussion being around maxi in the draw phase, maxi if there's a body on the field. How about we maxi after we bait with another hand trap and have them negate that? Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Emergency, summon for the deck, ash, negate. Just like that, mate. So we had the other way around instead. We protected our ash with maxi. Now we're gonna follow up Original Sinful, send the Poplar, summon from the deck a Hydrant. Hydrant is going to be searching our deck for a Turbulence. And let's now further Shokan into a Hida. Hida, steal the Ash. Thank you very much. That is a free Promethean Princess. Banish 2 from the grave to summon our Turbulence. Are we making a Little Knight to play around something? No, it's, you know, like, why not, right? Well, in Master Duel, you could feel the delays. You could see the field light up. If the field is not lighting up, it probably would have at least been a little bit of a thought on the Hida. Do I negate Hida? If the opponent's field's not lighting up when I'm activating Hida, they're not even thinking about it, I'm safely assuming there's no Imperm, there's no Veiler, I'm not gonna even play around it. Further Shokan into Promethean Princess. Promethean it up. You can hate it or love it, but that is the way Master Duel is. But it's a back and forth mind game. You do have the ability to hide your delay. So if you want to big brain your opponent, hide the imperm until the turbulence is on the field, and then they don't even summon an SP Little Knight because they're trying to outplay you from not showing any delays, then you outplay them right back. You have the Raging Phoenix now here. End the turn, let's go. We have a bunch of disruption. We have the flip, pop, and negate, plus a pop from the grave. We have 4 disruption. Let's go. Ash, activate, contain, negate. Okay, 3 more disruption. Can I suggest to Konami to add a way to always wait for a response even if you don't have one? I understand you like that idea, and that idea could make the game more competitive, but it will make the game worse because it is not good to teach players and encourage players to make the duels even longer and more boring and more repetitive for just adding random delays. Because technically in the TCG, you're not even allowed to do that. You're not allowed to bluff in the TCG. So it's almost like Konami acknowledging they're adding a purposeful way to bluff when you don't have a card, right? And I as much as I like it for the competitive mindset, I think it would just be bad for the game. I understand why the simulators do it in a way where they add a delay after everything, but it actually just makes the simulators feel more clunky. There's a delay on everything, on the resolution, on the activation, on setting. It just feels bad. It's bad overall for the feel of the game, but competitively, it's a good idea, but just bad. We're gonna chain Max C to the Promethean Princess, come forth and reborn. Let's get to it. Alrighty. And, you know, it's a nice little benefit for your deck to specifically have that ability to do that. If you're playing Labyrinth and you have a furniture card, then feel free to, do fake delays, but that is a special benefit that just your deck has. Or if you want to play Thunder Dragon, you have that special benefit. But for every deck to cause random delays all the time, it would suck. And what the hell? Rescue Ace defeating Snake Eye Fire King? Well, I said it's a battle of both decks. Between those 2 decks, which is the best one? I don't know. It's kind of leaning towards Rescue Ace at the moment, I'm thinking. But there are still more duels, more plays, hopefully more Snake Eye Fire King in the tournament. Let's go. We're going to Magician Soul send from the deck of Diablo Star, chain Max C. We are BMing the Gamma. You know, this is also a problem. If you wait for them to activate a card to special summon, it's a great debate. I would love to see a nice back and forth of when you should Max C, because now you played into a triple tactics talent, which would have been played around if you had used it in the main phase. Because either way, you were both playing into Gamma, but you had an Ash to stop the Gamma unless you drew that off the Max C. I don't think you did, though, right? You did not. So you played into Gamma because you had Ash, so that is correct. But then you played in the main phase. We have the Ponix. Ponix Search for Sanctuary, set up the Fire King Island, sending the Fire King Sanctuary and the Wanted Seeker to draw 2. But since we didn't pop a fire, which you normally would pop a fire, search Garunix would trigger, we popped the Magician's Soul instead to grab an Avatar Kirin. Okay. And we also have this. This is an interesting situation where we're changing our standard plays due to the fact we're playing against Runick. This card states, if a face-up Fire King is destroyed, special summon. And then, if a spell or trap card or effect of a spell or trap card is activated, you can negate it by destroying a card in your hand or face-up. So what's really cool about this is we're going to be able to pop the Ponix, summon the Rangbali. Rangbali will then pop the Kirin to negate maybe the field spell, and then the Kirin will trigger to reborn the Ponix, pop a card in the field, which maybe we're popping the field spell again. When this negates, does it destroy? It is going to negate the activation. It only negates the activation, but it does not destroy. But if you negate the activation of the field spell, it goes to the grave. And you cannot use Huggin to protect it from going to the grave. So if we can get this out early before the activation of the field spell, that's going to be an interesting play. In addition to negate field spell, pop field spell, we also have the Fire King Skyburn. Pop the field spell again. If a Huggin is already on the field and you target the Huggin in the field spell, Huggin cannot protect the field spell, but you're probably going to have to target the field spell before Huggin is on the field, then Huggin will come out and then protect the field spell. So we have 3 ways to pop that field spell, plus Ash negate the Huggin from searching the field spell, 4 ways to stop the field spell. And that's how you win the matchup. You stop the field spell. Now we're going to battle phase, so the Runick cards do not lock us out of the battle phase. Using the Fire Skyburn early, pop in the Ponix to summon the Rangbali. We're going to chain summon a Runick Dispelling. I think we're summoning a Gary. Gary in attack position? No, Hugin to search for field spell, which Ash will be able to negate. Ash on summon, discard, not Ash on summon, but a Hugin on summon, Ash negate, the on summon negate. We still have the Rangbali, which could pop the Kirin to negate the activation of a field spell. Further linking this up and doing SP Lil Knight. This is interesting. You activate to banish the Rangbali. We chain Kirin to pop the Rangbali. You chain Lil Knight to have the Rangbali dodge the pop. Does this still summon? So what's going to happen is you activate to destroy on resolution. So you just activate and there's nothing to pop and it's just stuck. You're going for the Fire King Island? The Fire King Island's going to leave the field, then activate to wipe out the fields. Okay, that's something. Pop the Rangbali in response to the Kirin popping the Bali to in response to you popping our field spell while banishing it. We have a negate. Negate your Flash Fire. Was this Flash Fire a mistake? Because they did not have a way to pop the Kirin. You gave them a way to pop the Kirin. They revealed Kirin, then you gave them a way to pop the Kirin. Uh-oh. Now, Kirin will reborn a monster and then pop a card in the field if there's even a card to pop, which there won't be. So, goodbye. Kirin does not get summoned. Kirin gets popped. Kirin's going to be activating as a mandatory chain link to... so the field spell's a mandatory chain link 1. The Kirin would be an optional chain link 2. So you summon it, and then the field spell wipes it out before something like the Ponyx would even trigger. But the Ponyx could trigger if it were in the hand, but it's in the grave. Mandatory chain link 1, Kirin trigger, reborn, and whatever we reborn just instantly dies. And this would be okay if we had a Garunix. Now, Ponyx being destroyed is actually kind of okay because during the next standby phase from it being destroyed, it adds back to the hand. Okay. Lil Knight in response to the Ponyx adding to the hand. We're going to Little Knight banish the Rangbali. Ponyx is a 1-card combo, though. 8,000 damage? I don't know about that, right? It's not 8,000. Wait, Ponyx search? We did not search? Oh, I mean, I'm thinking like pure Fire King. They have more than one. Are they only playing one Sanctuary, one Fire King Island? Is that standard? I'd have to double check later. The spells are gone. You just had nothing to search, huh? Yeah, all right. I'll be looking into the ratios and how TCG's playing it. Shokan into Hida. Hida, take out the Little Knight. What I really love to do a Lil Knight is make a dark, kill Lil Knight, then reborn their Lil Knight. Now, we didn't have that play because we didn't have a dark monster. Chain Maxi in response to the Hida stealing the Ash Blossom. We can't further commit to this into a Promethean reborn from the grave. We have to just end our turn. Let's keep on going. Yeah, I've checked the banish, the Fire King Island. But I've been playing pure Fire King, so it's in my head that you play 3 Island and 3 of the Sanctuary, that you would definitely have a search. Come forth and summon the Hugin, Shokaning the Golden Sword Soul, and the Hugin into a Tri-Edge Master on summon, draw a card here. The Avatar popping a card would trigger a Garunix had we had it. The fact that we passed up on the opportunity to search an early Garunix, we're paying the price. We searched for a Rangbali instead to have the ability to negate spell and traps. So we changed around our standard play. I'm actually surprised we're playing Rangbali in Snake Eye Fire King to begin with, right? This is something you'd more likely see in pure Fire King instead. Bonfire off the top of the deck. Thank you very much. Now, the Chaos Angel is fully protected from monster effects. So how do we out it? You can make a Goddess with it, yeah? And what else? Can't destroy by battle, and it's unaffected from monster effects. You could Subversion push it back. Are we reflecting battle damage for game? Bro, what are you playing? What just happened? What? This is Snake Eye Fire King Lyrilusk? What? What the? Where did this come from? Huh? Poplar sends summon Oak. Okay, Starling was just trying to boost up the Chaos Angel, which of course it's unaffected. So right now we have 7,000 reflected battle damage. 7K. Okay. Swallow, summon. Nightingale. Multiple attack, multiple reflect. Oh my gosh. Makonko before Makonko. Lyrilusk, Snake Eye, Fire King. Holy moly. Now it's not even worth it to check the standard ratios because that deck doesn't really exist. Wow. I think Snake Eye Fire King and TCG will become the best deck. I don't. Well, what do you mean in TCG? No, but in Master Duel, yes. Very nicely done. All right. The Little Knight is blocking our ability to summon a monster into the extra monster zone, but could very easily banish itself off. The Baron de Floor is a negate once while face up, so you use the Little Knight to banish the Baron de Floor to come back with its negate intact. So we have the curses, we have Baron de Floor, we have Little Knight. Baldrake could tribute the Little Knight, but probably not going to do that. Little Knight will probably use its effect, will summon a monster from the extra deck, will then tribute that monster to then banish a monster summon for the extra deck. So that's Baron, Baldrake, Little Knight, and they regain will reborn the Pater for extra disruption, and we have Nibiru, and we have curses. Did I count correctly? This seems like too much disruption. Let's go, 6. Okay, right. Little, Baron, Baldrake, Pater, Nibiru, and curses. Yeah, that is 6 disruption. We're going to be fingering the Dispater, so we're now down to 5 disruption. Negate. No Pater for you, mates. Okay, all right. We're ready with all the other cards. Regain triggered to return the Pater back in the extra deck, drawing into a tip. Tip can now search for Flash Fire, thus giving us even more disruption. We have 6. Could even search for a Destruction if we want to pop the Divine Temple, possibly. Searching for a level 1 if we control level 1. We're going to send the Ash to summon from the deck nothing as the Baron de Floor negates. We're now down to 5 disruption. Okay, all right. What else? What's good? Triple Tactics Thrust. We're going to thrust into our hand a Triple Tactics Talent. Triple Tactics Talent is going to threaten to take control of one of the opposing monsters. Little Knight is going to dodge that, so we lose Little Knight. And then we lose Baldrake, so we're now down to 3 disruption. Runick Tip, searching into our 3rd form of disruption. We have Curses, Flash Fire, and Nibiru. Flash Fire taking out the Baldrake, chaining the Smiting Storm, so we're now down to 2 disruption to banish off the top of the deck, randomly banishing double Ash and a Poplar. Okay, yeah, further banishing their 1 of Fire King Island. Randomly banishing, only play 1. Now the Sanctuary is trash. Damn. Runick's annoying, huh? Magician Soul sent for the deck, Diablo Star. Come forth and summon. We're going to send our field spell to randomly draw into a Canary. We got Recital Starling. Starling searching for a level 1 Wing Beast. Grabbing the Swallow. Poplar is going to trigger, equip itself into the back row. Swallow is going to be summoning from the hand the Ponix. Ponix searching for, I think, the Snake Eye or Fire Pop, because we don't have the field spell anyway. The field spell's gone. So I don't think this search, was this search even worth it? I guess it would give them the ability to pop 1 card in the field. Sure. Negate. Now we just have Nibiru. Only Nibiru. End phase Nibiru. Yep, we are Nibiruing right here, right now. Nibiru it up. Wipe up that field, and we now went through everything. It initially was 6 disruption, then it turned into 7, and it's all gone. And we're still cooking after every single form of disruption has been used. What the hell is going on? We have triple attack directly to then go into a Zeus to then send the field spell, not destroy. Thus, a special summon Hugin would not protect it, but we already used up the Smiting Storm anyway. Should we have sent it before Baron de Floor came back? I guess, oh gosh. If we end phase, wait for Baron de Floor negates, we then send again, they lose the field spell. But now if we wait for their turn, you send, negate. You send again, they then curses, negate your Zeus. So it looks like Bystial Runick wins, right? That's a checkmate. Send. Again, and that's where it's like, oh, you also have Baron de, yeah, yep, that's a scoop. 1-1. So under Max C, we still have great plays. The Kirin could pop a card, which would trigger another Garunix if we had it in the graveyard, but we don't. So this Garunix on the field, we kind of need it in the grave. But if we Kirin pop, that will then summon Ring Bali. Ring Bali could then negate a spell or trap by popping the Kirin, which could then trigger the Garunix and reborn another monster to then pop a card in the field. We do have plays. Okay, we got plays. Onyx add back to the hand. Sure. Now, that will also trigger the Ponix to summon from the hand. Now, Ponix and Rangbali, you have to choose which one you want to summon. If a fire monster is destroyed, you cannot summon both, and if that happened to you in the physical card game, I'm sorry you got cheated. Quem, activate, send from the deck. Kieran, we're making plays. Let's go. Ooh, it's a non-target pop. We don't know what you're popping until the resolution. We're going to make the Garunix unpoppable, but the Kieran could still pop a card in the hand. All right, this got a little bit interesting. So we can't get Garunix in the grave. We pop Ponix to trigger the Rangbali. Rangbali, trigger, come forth and summon. We did not trigger the ring. Oh, you can't. Rangbali is only if a face-up Fire King is destroyed. The Ponix was face-up, or it does not matter where it is. So it is extra restrictive, but we popped the Ponix instead of the Rangbali. But now we don't have a way to get the Rangbali out. And the Rangbali does not come out from battle destruction. Not that Runick destroys by battle, because they're not going to have a battle phase. It just can't be used in the damage step. I don't know how we get Rangbali out. We don't. We don't get Rangbali out. Well, Baron de Fleur might actually get the Rangbali out. So a lot of you may be thinking, take out the field spell wipes the field, but the Sanctuary protects your field from being wiped. And in this case, you may want your Kieran to actually be wiped to trigger to reborn. Okay. Banished card. We're going to be triggering the Sword Soul to reborn and summon a level 4 tuner. Level 4 tuner for another level 10 Synchro Shokan into the Dissipator. Dissipator can negate a monster effect and reborn a banished monster, but we're not going to be using that. We're going to send to the grave for Lubellion to set up a Branded Regained. Branded Regained it up. We have no quick play effects on the Fire King side right now. We're just completely open. We're just watching our opponent. We can't do anything. And that's going to trigger, but the Slumber's protecting the Garunix. Kieran would have loved to reborn Garunix here. Oh my gosh. And our Kieran gets fingered. Rangbali, now that you destroyed a face-up, will finally summon, but the Baron de Fleur will negate. Garunix doesn't want to be on the freaking field. If Garunix is in the hand or in the grave, it would be triggering the summon. That Slumber on Garunix was massive big brain. It screwed up everything. So if you're a Purely player, you want to protect the Garunix from destruction with your Purely happiness. Do that, because it works. Then you pop Garunix, and why is nothing triggering? Because there's nothing to trigger. Ponix only triggers from the hand, Rangbali only triggers from the hand, Garunix could trigger from the graveyard, but the Garunix was destroyed itself. Oh my gosh. Getting super outplayed. Brock obviously knows how Fire King works. Ponix, trigger, come back. The Baron de Fleur has already used its one swap face-up negate, so she's getting the hail out of here. We're going to summon our Magna Hut to trigger to grab a dragon during the end phase. Send the Sanctuary to summon Diablo Star. We don't have any more Sanctuary or Fire King Island. It's gone. Regained, reborn the Dissipator, which is extra disruption. So we have the Little Knight, we have Dissipator negate a monster, we have the Nibiru to banish the field, we have we also have Baldrake to banish a monster from the extra deck. We have about 4 disruption. And now we have Ash. What the heck was that? We just drew a card, drawing into the Ash. We are going to negate the Magician's Soul's mate. Or destroy it, actually. Instead of negating, we destroy it because it's pretty much the same thing. All right? We're going to Original Sinful, send into our newly drawn Ash, negating. Oh, Megon, I'm so sorry. Holy moly. You are getting super screwed. We still have Baldrake, we still have Little Knight, we still have Nibiru, and with 3 disruptions left, we just couldn't play through it. Your finger is more important than ever. Fingering Kieran is massive. Something you couldn't really do in the TCG due to only having 1 finger. We got 2, use both of them. Got Danger for random discarding, that's pretty good. And we have a fully uninterrupted Bonfire play. So what exactly do you do in Snake Eye Fire King if you have just 1 Bonfire? Okay, let's see if they use any. I don't think they're going to be using the Sanctuary probably, right? Hopefully not. Let's see. So we grab an Original Sinful, we send the Poplar, we summon a Ponix. Ponix would search for the Sanctuary. So this is the only extra disruption. Just replace this with Sanctuary, and then this is a 1 Bonfire play. 1 Bonfire, This is additional. Pretend it's not here. It's not an extender. It's just extra disruption. So, yep. Poplar, Original, Ponix, Sanctuary, Field Spell, Search Runics, pop in the Barong. Okay, Barong popped. Barong will search in the next standby phase. The Ponix will also add in the standby phase back to our hand. Barong will grab the Kirin. All right, there you go. That is a one bonfire play of what they decided to do. Are you playing, could this be considered pure Fire King, right? You're not playing maybe Ash, Snake Eye Ash possibly? I don't really know. Daniel, what is this? Is this Snake Eye Fire King or what? Because we don't call it Snake Eye Rescue Ace if they're playing Poplar. Droll and Lockbird, you're not allowed to even activate your Dark Corridor, mate. Oh my gosh. No. Oh my Jesus. We have Ash, no Droll. We have the Genta, which is going to be searching for the field spell. That is going to be negated. Okay. And now we have the gold being triggered to Reborn from the Grave since it was discarded by card effect. Then the rainbow is going to add back to the hand. And didn't we have a Griffin also? I thought we had Grapha, right? You don't Grapha, return back the rainbow. We're leaving it in the graveyard. Okay, so what did we exactly accomplish here? We have an Omni Negate. We have Griffin, which states, if there's a special summon monster on the field, it cannot activate unless it's linked. Linked is different than co-linked. Linked is if any link monster is pointing to you and you don't have to point back. Well, it's balanced because if you summon this in the extra monster zone, it points to the opponent's field. But the way we summoned it, the Muckraker is not pointing to the opponent's field, thus they have no way to naturally be linked, thus they have to summon a link monster if they want to link with any of their own monsters. Otherwise, they have to deal with the Griffin. And then the Dark World Accession is going to be able to fusion summon during your opponent's main phase. Let's go. Bonfire, we're not negating with the Grapha Dark World, and the negate forces the opponent to make you discard instead of the effect. We're going to Kirin, pop the Poplar, trigger Garunix from the graveyard, come forth and summon. To battle phase we go. Muckraker will protect from destruction by sending another card instead. Okay. Fairy Tail Snow is going to flip down the Kirin, banish 7, come forth and summon. Now Garunix really wanted to on summon destroy a Kirin from the deck, Kirin then summon from the grave another monster to then pop a card in the field, but couldn't do so due to the Griffin. So this is not a good spot for Fire King. Trigger the Genta when Banish Reborn itself back onto the field, flipping that Kirin face down on that attack. The Muckraker, I think, is a hard once per turn protect. Yeah, hard once a turn. If you're going to be destroyed once, you then protect. We're going to, within the main phase, Shokan into an access code talker. If you have any good back row cards, the Grapha will be able to normal spell, normal trap only, or a monster effect, be able to turn it into you discard instead. Access the codes, banish in the grave, popping a card in the field, wiping out the back row. Access code talker again, pop in the back row. Now, how do we deal with the Kirin? The Kirin states if this is destroyed in sent to the graveyard, it's going to special summon a Fire King from the grave, then pop a card in the field. So how do we deal with it? What's the play? Well, does Grapha negate? Well, Grapha is not a damage step negate because it does not negate the activation. That is going to be the problem. Yeah, what do we do? We pop it within the main phase, then negate it. Wouldn't that be the play? Further Shokaning this up into an Paleozoic, which does negate in the damage step. That's a damage step negate. Dark World Accession, fusing with the hand, and banishing for the graveyard for colorless. Or Chlorless is what they renamed it to. It's going to be 5,000 attack plus 300 with the field spell. Triggering the gold. Colorless is going to destroy the opponent's field. Genta come forth and summon. And we have Apollo USA, which is going to be negating the... You can't chain link block with the Garunix in the hand. That's going to be a quick effect priority. The trigger effect is just going to be the Kirin, and that's it. The Garunix in the grave cannot activate because it wasn't in the grave when the cards were destroyed. So this activates, Apollo negates, but then Garunix on a higher chain link can chain to the Apollo to then summon itself onto the field. But then the Grapha can negate. Oh boy. Apollo's linked. Wait, so you're saying the Apollo cannot be activated? Grapha negate. Discard a card instead. And just as we said, let's go. To battle we go. Lethal damage. Lethal. Alrighty. Alrighty. Damn. Damn. That's crazy stuff. That's some crazy stuff. You know, we had to, we set this up in a good way to destroy the whole field. Instead of doing it with the Access Code Talker, doing it with the colorless, wipe out the entire field. Apollo is safe for negates. Now the TCG, the Kirin, and the Garunix would both be activating before the Apollo could even negate. So it would have been a little bit different in that scenario. Now, I do agree with the Master Duel ruling instead. I think it's better that the triggers in hand have a quick effect priority. It's similar to a Torrential Tribute having quick effect trigger priority. It triggers on summon, but it's not trigger priority of flip up Torrential before the opponent could even respond. I think that's quite ridiculous. Fire King going first. Bonfire into the Poplar. We have no hand traps whatsoever. Is it really Snake Eye Fire King if it's not playing Flameburge? Is Ash enough to call it Snake Eye Fire King? Because pure Rescue Ace plays Poplar. So I'm kind of conflicted. Where do we list this deck? Is this pure Fire King? Not really though, right? No, it is. Yes, like the chat's kind of going back and forth. What is it? I don't even know, really. We're gonna grab a Kirin. Kirin's gonna be the quick effect within the main phase to pop a card from our hand or on the fields. We have the Dark Corridor. Search our deck, then discard, and just like that is negated. The effect is negated, not the activation, thus another copy of the Corridor will not be activatable. Be gone. What do? We have the Chupacabra to randomly discard itself. That sucked. Oh my gosh. Oops. We're going to Danger Nessie, discard Birdman, come forth and summon, draw a card. The Dangers have to discard another card, otherwise you don't draw. Like that, again. So we whiffed out on 2 Danger effects, so 2 cards drawn have not been drawn. Wow. Bro, what is going on? That's a 66% chance to draw. You whiffed it. Another 66% chance, you whiffed it. What was it? Another 66% chance, you whiffed it. 366 in a row, and we lost every single one? What the heck? We lost out on draw 3. We're gonna flip the Garunix face down, and the High King Avatar must destroy a fire monster. So while face down, it can't be destroyed. We're gonna pop the Garunix, which will trigger the Ponix to come forth and summon, searching our deck for the Fire King burn. Okay. We now have Dugaris. Dugaris will draw 2 discard or reborn from the graveyard. We're probably gonna draw 2 discard. Yes, we are. Discard in the snow. Snow trigger to search our deck for a rainbow. Gates the Dark World could discard the rainbow to search for a Grapha. We're gonna randomly draw into the Jackalope, just like that, banish in the grave. We don't have Genta to reborn onto the field. Now we're gonna be drawing randomly, then definitely searching for whatever Dark World we want. I thought we would search for a Grapha. We got gold instead. Discard rainbow. Now the rainbow randomly being discarded, doesn't that, what? Why didn't that, is that the wrong rainbow? That's a different rainbow. Yeah, this is the original rainbow, the one that does nothing. Okay, so that one does not search. Boreas sending from the deck to the grave a Zephyros. Zephyros recycle back the Gates of the Dark World to use it again, replay it onto the field, discard gold, reborn gold, grabbing a snow randomly, come forth. We have used up our normal summon already, return back the gold to summon the rainbow, further showconning into a dark. Dark, reborn a dark monster from the opponent's graveyard, stealing the Link Karibo. So we have to have the Little Knight be the direct chain link to the dark, and we could still have the intent to activate Link Karibo to tribute the Ponix. We could still do so, which we will. It would be incorrect to chain Link Karibo to the dark, because then we can't use the Little Knight if that's what we wanted to do. Very nice. Direct chain, then still add the Link Karibo, so the dark summons nothing. Nessie hits the 66% to draw a card and summon. Gold reborn from the grave. Fairy Tale Snow banishing a bunch of cards on the grave. We're now down to, what, 4 cards on the graveyard after that banish 7. Flipping down the Kieran, Genta, discard, search our deck for a Gate to the Dark Worlds. Play the Gates of the Dark World, discard Snow, draw a card, and search our deck for a Dark World card. What are we searching for? Randomly drawing. After the random draw, search our deck. Genta trigger after being banished to summon itself onto the field. Now, the Genta special summon could only happen once. Okay, come to me. We now have Grapha. We're going to further link this up into a Curious. Send from the deck, then mill 3. What we are sending from the deck is the Dark World Accession. Randomly milling 3. Return back gold for Rainbow. Dark World Accession, add back to the hand, then discard the gold. Gold trigger, reborn itself back onto the field. This is turn 2 main phase 1, so we should be going for lethal, yes? Shokan into the Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker is here. Return back to the hand and come forth and summon Rainbow. Dark World Accession, using with the hand to Shokan into the Grapha Overworld Dark Lord. This is a negate, but not within the damage step. We have the Grapha, when sent to the grave, is going to be popping the back row Sanctuary. The Sanctuary is protecting the island from being destroyed. If the island leaves the field but is not returned back in the deck, it will activate to wipe out the entire field of your monsters, that is. And not the opponent's monsters, just your own. Return back, summon Grapha. Link for material, Apollo USA. That is going to be a giant 3,200 attack. Banish, pop the Link Karibo with Access Code Talker. Banish again, taking out the Kieran. Kieran will trigger to reborn from the graveyard, and we are going to be negating that, yes? Oh, so remember we had the Garunix in the hand, and the Kieran was being destroyed and activating the graveyard? In the TCG, Garunix could Chainlink block, but in Master Duel, if both are in the grave, the Garunix will Chainlink block the Kieran, thus through the Grapha, through the Apollo, we're gonna reborn and we could take out the Access Code Talker and there's nothing we can do to stop it. Garunix is activating to summon from the grave. Holy moly. Now, you may be thinking, why not add Ponix to this, right? That'd be good. Well, Ponix cannot be activated in the same chain as Garunix, even if Garunix is in the grave. It's a ruling that states multiple triggers cannot result in summoning monsters activating from the hand to summon. So that's why. Even though it's in the grave. So Ponix and Garunix will never be in the same chain. Goodbye to the Access Code Talker, activating Garunix to be forcing it to now turn into the Overlord, having us discard a card. Now, the gold has an additional effect if the opponent discarded it itself. Now, the gold will instead activate to target up to 2 cards your opponent controls to then destroy them. Let's go. Goodbye Field Spell, goodbye Garunix. Now, what's annoying about this is the Fire King Island is a mandatory Chainlink 1, so if we Chainlink to the Ponix, it's going to summon then get wiped out immediately. 8,500 for game? Wait. Why is it not game? What? How do we gain life points? Wait, what? 85? Where did life points come from? I'm confused. You upstart Goblin. How many times? You banished it. Where's the upstarts? You double upstarted. Fairy Tale Snow for game. Oh, you timed out. No. Oh my gosh. We still had game. Fairy Tale Snow. You have to activate. You then have to click 7 cards. You then have to choose the battle position of the Fairy Tale Snow. You then have to select it to attack. So it's either a click or drag. How many seconds does a Fairy Tale Snow require? At least 3 to 4 seconds to activate and resolve an attack with, right? So that's it. Oh my gosh. Wow, that is insane. Bonfire, grabbing Ash. That's where we stop. That's where the play differs if there were no Max C. We would have added Garunix instead. Okay, let's go. Kieran can pop Kieran, which could trigger, reborn, pop a card in the field, non-targeting. Let's go. So we have non-target pop, plus in impermanence, 2 disruption, and they got to draw 2 for Max C. So 2 disruption for 2 draws. Is that correct? That we should have even done that. Okay, add back. You know, technically they drew 2 for 1 disruption because we didn't gain an impermanence and then they drew. So it's like draw 2, 1 disruption. Airlifter negate with the impermanence. Negate. Now, we have the Kieran Pop. Kieran Pop. Reborn the Snake Eye Ash, by the way, which would be very good. You Maxi me, I Maxi you. It's only fair, okay? So we cannot blame Maxi on this game if both players use the Maxi. We're going to Kieran right now. Now, the Hydrant is normally protected. It cannot be targeted by any card effect whatsoever if there's another Rescue Ace in the field. But as I said, Kieran's a non-target pop. Pop the Kieran. Again, we're going to draw 2 off the Kieran. Kieran trigger. Bro, they're going to draw 3? Are you out of your damn mind? Why did we add Ponix to it? Huh? Oh, no. What? This was the, wait, special summon a fire, king from your hand or, oh, oops, we screwed up. And by the way, it cannot summon a Snake Eye Ash. I said that incorrectly. I think we meant to choose Ponix to summon with Kieran, but we instead chained Ponix to Kieran. Thus, we now don't get to pop a card in the fields. So the Hydrant does not die. Is this a misplay or a misclick, right? This wouldn't happen in real life. Oh my gosh. What the hell? That sucks. Oh my gosh. You know, it's kind of like activating Small World, choosing Ash, but you actually activate Ash to negate your Small World. That's kind of what happened. We're going to be adding a Poplar with the Snake Eye Ash. Poplar, you know, good thing for Kaido. This will never happen to Kaido again. All right, it's just a one-time thing that day 1 new pack, getting used to the activations of the cards. We have Promethean Princess reborning the Hydrant. Oh, this is quite the maxi challenge, by the way. We're going to negate that Hydrant. No search for you. Rescue could steal a card from the opponent's graveyard, but how's that going to help us get into our Turbulence? Further linking this up, Shokan into the Raging Phoenix. 9 cards in the hand. Let's get to it. I think we're flaming on for this maxi challenge. World Seed Dragon Zealantis, banish every single card in the field. Reborn it back onto the field here. Let's freaking do it. Back onto the field face down. That will trigger our Promethean Princess. The Kieran already activated its effect this turn, so it cannot activate again. Wipe out the Ponix, reborn the Promethean Princess, trigger the Raging, and just like that, we're gonna have over 8,000 damage in the field, but there's a body in the field, but it does not matter because we can wipe it out. Are you ready? Let's count up the damage. 8,700 damage. Why are you summoning more under Max C? Why? You have enough for game. The Kieran can't even activate. Zealantis is going to be... No. That is not going to work here. It's still going to protect. If it were like Huggin would have to, if it doesn't destroy itself instead, it does not count as being able to destroy both. Huggin and the field spell cannot protect, but the Fire King Sanctuary and the Stun Continuous spell, it doesn't destroy itself instead. It destroys another card instead. So what the heck just happened? Oh my gosh. 8,000 life points. Garunix is activating to summon from the deck. What happened here? What happened here? What happened here? If we popped the face down Kieran, were we okay? You pop the Kieran. The Garunix has not activated yet. But an original fire was destroyed. It would still trigger the Garunix from the hand. I guess you're still kind of screwed, right? It's very difficult to Zealantis lethal against Fire King, I'd say, because they have ways to trigger summon Garunix. So as much as I want to say he misplayed, I think the misplay was just taking the maxi challenge. Did we actually have a way to lethal? I don't think we missed lethal. We just didn't have it. But we definitely should not have popped the Sanctuary, unless I guess the overall goal is to eventually just take out the field spell. We're going to Subversion, push back into the back row. Nibiru top deck, by the way, yes. Off the top of the deck when we needed it most. Yep, there is that Nibiru. Very well done. Call by the Grave, fingering the Airlifter. Be gone, as we targeted that Airlifter to reborn onto the field. 14 cards in the hand. Let's freaking go. Shokan into Link Karibo. We're going to Kieran, pop a fire monster from our hand. Is this the third time we're maxing? Back to back to back max C. We're going to negate that max C with the Ash Blossom. Negate. Now, let's keep on going. Pop a card from the hand. Pop in the Flameburst. Flameburst trigger. Garunix trigger. Fire monster destroyed. Come forth and summon. This is not a chain link block, by the way. We're going to come forth and summon. We could use the Moonlit Chill to negate the Garunix or negate the Ash. What are we negating? We're going to Promethean Princess, which we have to choose to activate that first. Then we could add the Ghost Mourner to it. We are going to be, holy moly. We're popping 2 cards on the field. Pop our 2, pop your 2. Moonlit Chill on top of you. Onto the Garunix. You're gonna lose 2,700 life points, and you're negated from popping a card from the deck. Burn for 27, and I guess the Promethean targets are no longer on the field. At least one of them have to be on the field to reborn from the grave. The Kieran being destroyed is gonna trigger. The Raging Phoenix will trigger because a fire monster was destroyed. Ponix will trigger to summon itself from the hand. The Kieran's gonna reborn a body from the grave and then pop a card in the field non-targeting. What are we popping? On this resolution, summon, pop, imperm, gone. Arvata, monster negate. Negate the Ash. We can negate it with the Arvata. But we're not. We don't care. It's fine. I didn't even need it. We are still waiting with the Arvata negate. We can negate. Is it in the damage step? I'm waiting to read the card here. Monster, negate the activate. It is a damage step negate if we want to. Stealing the opponent's Promethean Princess. Shokan into the Raging Phoenix. I think we are saving it for a Nibiru that's not there. Possibly, right? If they have Nibiru, we could pop the Poplar and we're good. Triple Tactics talent, taking control of the Raging Phoenix. 15,000 damage on the field, just like that. Do not take the Maxi Challenge against Fire King. Damn. Very well done. Good job, Darth. Not Darth. Good job to Kaido. I saw Darth, and that's what I was thinking. Good job, Kaido. Pot of P, disable low latency. That increases the chance to desync, though. I think that's the issue. We are digging deep. 6 cards come to me. Emergency. Emergency, activate some for the deck. Ash, negate. Got you, mate. Save the Ash for the Hydrants or the Emergency. You could also use it on Original Sinful, attempting to summon a Hydrant potentially. You have Impulse. The Impulse enables the use of the Contain to negate a monster on the field. If they activate a monster on the field, the Impulse could jump off the field to summon from the deck. Let's go, let's go. Arvata can now negate Impulse. We're gonna grab a Bonfire, activating the Poplar to come forth and summon. The Impulse is gonna chain jump off. This is dangerous. Well, I guess we have Imperm, so it's okay. Because the Arvata will negate, then you no longer have a monster to use Contain with. You have to have a Rescue Ace to even use it. But if they Ash your Impulse, you're actually just screwed. Your Contain is gone. Yeah. I do think you did this only because you had Imperm, right? Imperm negate Arvata, but then we forgot about Ash. Now Contain is dead. All right, we just have an Imperm. Imperm, negate the Poplar. And what can they do from here? Negate the Impulse. And what do we have? Hida, steal your Impulse, actually, into a Promethean Princess if we want. That is the other issue of playing a fire deck yourself. They can now steal your fire monster, is exactly what they're doing. Further Shokaning into our Promethean Princess. Promethean, activate, reborn from the grave, Arvata. Let's get swinging, 4,500 damage. The Arvata is a hard once per turn on the negate, leaving up Promethean Princess as if you activate a monster effect, we could use the Arvata to pop the Promethean if we want to, which would then trigger the Ponix to summon from the hand. We just have a Moonlit Chill that we're setting and passing. Dead Harpy Feather Duster, which is really good for the mirror match. Not so good against the Fire King Island because the back row Sanctuary will protect from being destroyed. Cosmic Cyclone is a better way of dealing with the Sanctuary due to that. We're gonna activate the Sanctuary, set up the island, pop a monster, and then add a fire. Come forth, trigger the Garunix, and summon. You would search for Garunix if you did not already have it in the hand. Pop in the Kieran reborn from the grave, non-target pop a card in the field. And just like that, lethal damage. Now, are we carelessly playing into something like Nibiru? Let's say if we even attempted the 5 summons, the Arvata would negate it. So we had that full protection. negate Nibiru, just wham bam, thank you ma'am, come forth and swarm the field, get poppin', and just like that, that's a 2-0. Knocking out Rescue Ace with Snake Eye Fire King. This is the real deal. It's not random hype. This deck is it. This is the deck. All right, we're going first. We have Ponix searching for the Fire King Sanctuary. The Paleo deck is all about activating traps in the grave, using it with the transaction rollback to copy cards like Evenly Match. There's another card that just destroys the entire field that has a ridiculous requirement to activate, but transaction rollback ignores the entire cost of that card. We're now going to be making an SP to the Little Knight, which could be reborn with an Ambler Whale, but we're not even going that deep. We just have Little Knight. So what exactly are our disruptions? If we could activate the Kirin to destroy a fire monster in the hand, which would destroy the Ash, which would trigger the Garunix to reborn and destroy a Kirin from the deck, which would trigger to reborn from the grave, to then pop a card. It's like 20 different steps to just pop a card in the field. That's what we're doing. That's one disruption. And then we have the Knight, the second disruption, and that's pretty much what we got. Well, we have Arvata Reborn, so that's a third disruption of a monster negate. It's about triple disruption plus Nibiru and the Ash. Let's go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going to randomly mill 3. Okay, we're going to try to not pause too much here. Declaring level 2, I believe, is correct. Yes, correct. Level 2 is what they want to summon off the top of the deck. If you're playing against this, declare level 2. Blackjack. Backjack wants to be in the graveyard, so it's just going to link off into a Linkuriboh. That's fine. Linkuriboh it up. The Backjack's going to be looking at the top 3 cards of the deck. We actually don't get to see that happen. Now, the Little Knight is going to chain banish the Linkuriboh off the field as one of our disruptions. We're going to set at the end of the main phase, which is the last time we can activate this. We're doing exactly what I said. Trigger Garunix, trigger the Kirin, reborn the Arvata, and pop a card on the field. Or pop Ponix instead, taking out the Paleo trap that returns a banished card to the graveyard. Now, what exactly are we dealing with? We're dealing with a Wabaku. So we're dealing with a guaranteed another turn we're going to be living for. Let's go. We're going to finger the Backjack at the end of their turn, which is smart. The Backjack is a quick effect only during the opponent's turn to banish from the grave to set the top card from our deck, only if it's a trap and it's activatable that turn. So you ensure it's a trap that you want to activate, but now that's no more. Nicely done. So how do we deal with Wabaku? You can't. It's just guaranteed protected for another turn. Sky Burn. Attempt to wipe out the entire field. Now, against Paleo, you want to chain to their traps, or they're going to chain their Paleo cards in the grave to summon onto the field. And through the power of Wabaku, you can't destroy them by battle, and you can't destroy them by monster effect because they're unaffected from monsters. So what do? We didn't chain link block, so now they're summoning from the grave at least one Paleo. Now they're doing it again. You have to chain link block this. Now, the Sanctuary protects the field spell from destruction, but we're not activating to destroy, we're banishing. And when the field spell leaves the field, it's going to wipe out our Little Knight. So we have to chain Little Knight right now. Little Knight, chain banish, dodge our field getting wiped. And we are triggering Kirin. So come forth, Wabaku, summon from the grave, wiping out the field of back row. The Fire King Island triggering. The Kirin's going to be on a higher chain link because the island is a mandatory activation. Reborn, pop Linkuriboh, we can't take out the Paleo. Arvata being destroyed, trigger, reborn a monster that will be negated. Garunix trigger, reborn from the grave. Now, what do we even do off of this? The problem is we can't deal any battle damage, and we can't destroy that by battle, and we can't pop it by monster effect. We're going to pop the Ulcanix, which will summon from the deck a high avatar Garunix, making a Masquerena. Do we have another Little Knight? We're going to be going to a Promethean reborn from the graveyard of fire. Okay. Yep. And then summon Ulcanix, further link this off into an Ambler Whale. Whale to battle. Yup, does nothing. Thank you very much. We have Arvata for a monster negate. And let's take a quick little gander at the graveyard. Are there any transaction rollbacks in the grave? There are none. That's a big problem. And we'll talk about the other card in a bit. Ponix after being destroyed, add back. We're going to pretty much guarantee survive another turn. Ooh, Paleozoic Xyz 2. We're going to be popping it, but it's unaffected from monster effects. So what you could do is you could detach a material, add a Paleozoic card from your deck to your hand. How do we deal with it? Well, Kieran can't pop it. Promethean Princess can't pop it. Thank you for trying. Searching our deck for a Morella. Morella gets transaction rollback in the grave. And it's activatable from the hand because we have the rank 2 Xyz. We're going to call by the Grave Finger, the Jack back again. Okay. Back, Jack back. Banish, not being able to send the top card of the deck onto your field to then activate it. With precision, milling a transaction rollback into the graveyard. SP Little Knight banishing her. Okay, we're chain link blocking a Paleozoic. So this is very important. Call by the Grave chain link block, and then Little Knight chain link block. We stopped them from summoning 2 Paleozoics in the grave. Sending another transaction rollback to copy a card. We're going to copy right here, right now, since it's a hard once return. Copying Needlebug Nest to mill 5. Milling a Fiend Comedian. Toss a coin, call it incorrectly, and then you have to mill that many cards from your opponent's graveyard count off of your deck, which you want to do. If you call it correctly, you then just banish all of your opponent's graveyard. So it's a win-win. We're gonna banish 11 cards or mill 11 cards. Oh my gosh. To battle we go. So the Rise to Full Height banishes and targets a card in the field, and only that card can be attacked into. So when it leaves the field, you can no longer attack that monster, thus you can't attack directly. What the hell? So goodbye. Can't attack directly. Guaranteeing another turn again. Now we have Wolf. Wolf is a good way to recycle the graveyard if we summon to where it's pointing to. We have a Monster Negate. We have Little Nightmate. Oh my gosh. The dreaded Morganite. Do we have a way to keep ourselves in the duel? We have the transaction rollback to copy Wabaku if we need to. That could be a last resort play, potentially. And we're going to draw 2 every turn with the Morganite. So if we could just focus on surviving, then we'll be good, right? We could use the Balance of Judgment to draw 5 cards, but that's not going to keep us in the duel. So I feel like we have to copy Wabaku, right? Transaction rollback, copying the effect of Wabaku, as we said. And then we have to hope that the Morganite helps us draw into 2 cards into something good. Ucho, unaffected by all other card effects, is a good way to go into a Zeus. Okay. So we could send the opponent's field to the graveyard if they were to do anything crazy. Draw 2. Whatever we set's going to potentially get wiped out by Zeus, but then we have to wipe out our own field also. We're doing it. That was a Paleozoic pop a back row card, and we're scooping it up. We don't have another way to protect ourselves another turn. Now, remember, we did get to top 16 for good reason, so the deck does do stuff, but the endless onslaught of Fire King wiping out the field continually and then threatening lethal every single turn, it's too much to keep up with. Had we turned 1 the Morganite, I feel like they probably would have won. All right. What do you have here? Reasoning, which is essentially grass looking greener. Elemental Burst, if copied by the transaction rollback, destroys the entire opposing field. You could copy Daruma. Backjack, summon, link off into Link Karibo. You should be calling level 2 though. Level 2 is correct. Backjack looks at the top of the deck. We're now going to draw 2 after looking at the top of the deck, drawing into double Morganite. So the third card, you ensure it's a good trap if among the 3 cards you actually had the option to put a good trap there. And you can't finger the Backjack now. So the Backjack will dodge the finger, set the trap from the top of the deck, and it will be activatable. And that activatable trap is going to be Morella, which will get a transaction rollback in the grave, which will be able to copy a full field wipe, a full field flip face down, or draw a ton of cards with Balance of Judgment. Not looking good for Snake Eye Fire King. We're going to discard, come forth, and summon Diablo Star. Did Snake Eye Fire King go first in the last duel? I think they did, right? So that was a big advantage for them. We have Oak on summon, reborn the Ponix. Ponix activates, searching the deck for the Fire King Sanctuary, further linking into a Link Karibo, further Shokaning into Little Knight to chain banish a monster on the field, but it does not work against the Paleozoics. We let it get banished. We didn't chain anything. That's interesting. Banish the rollback, and it's gone. Now, there's a Paleozoic card that returns it back in the grave. Interesting. Okay, you know, we have the trap trick to set any trap from the deck and activate it. We're going to flip down the Garunix. We're going to chain Little Knight to banish the Garunix off the field. We're going to activate Trap Trick to set a trap from the deck. We're going to chain Max C to chain link block the Morella Engrave from summoning. It's all about the chain link blocks. It's kind of like Labyrinth with chain link blocking. We're going to set the Paleozoic trap that puts the transaction rollback back into the grave. So we will transaction rollback. It will happen. Kieran is triggering to non-target pop the Paleozoic trap in the back row, so we are going to be activating it before it gets popped, putting the transaction rollback into the grave, and pick what you want to do. You want to wipe out the entire field? Do you want to draw cards equal to what they have in the field? It does consider the card in your hand, though. So right now we would draw 3 with the Balance of Judgment, or we could flip the whole field face down, or we could just destroy everything. So come forth and summon. Poplar is going to be equipping the Oak, Ash sending itself plus the Oak to summon from the deck, Shokan into Flameburge. Can we put up lethal damage? If we can't put up lethal, and we put up a ton of cards in the field, then they're gonna draw a bunch if they want to. We're drawing, right? Oh my gosh. Draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards if we copy the Balance of Judgment. Oh my gosh. Oh my Jesus. That's a lot of drawn cards. 7 cards. Whoops. Did Little Knight banish the wrong card? I mean, they technically could have just put the Balance of Judgment back in the graveyard, right? So how this card works is if we activate anything, this will chain summon a Laundry from the deck, which will then mill 3. Whale. On summon, mill 3, Little Knight. We're going to chain to the Laundry. We're going to chain the Soldier Dragon, summon from the deck. You can summon another Soldier Dragon, then summon another Soldier Dragon, which then summons another Soldier Dragon, which then summons a Laundry. It's up to your opponent how many times they want to activate. Now, the third Soldier Dragons was just sent to the graveyard randomly. And we now got our rank 2. Rank 2, unaffected by monster effects. We can activate our Paleozoic cards from the hand. We're going to Dino Mischief, banish the field spell, which will wipe out the entire field. That's a problem. Activate, wipe the field mate, Ponix trigger, add from the deck. The Sanctuary normally protects the field spell from destruction. This was banishment. Now, the Flameburge will trigger. The Garunix won't trigger unless we have another Garunix in the graveyard, which it looks like we did not. Oak trigger, reborn the Ash, add back. Is this duel going to go to time? Gia, did a duel go into time? Oh, actually, don't spoil it. Don't tell me. Elemental Burst, wiping out the entire field as we said. Wipe it. Fire King Garunix trigger off of a fire monster being destroyed. Reborn itself from the grave. Pop a monster from the deck. And when we pop that monster, it'll be Kieran. Kieran will pop a back row card. The back row card will be Daruma or the Trap Trick. Goodbye, Trap Trick. Let's go. Now, the Opa Binia is unaffected from monster effects. We're going to push it into the back row. So what's funny about this is we're going to target it with the full rise to full height, and you can only attack into a monster that's no longer on the field. So you can't attack. Yeah, cannot attack except that monster. Thus, the Laundry is protected. We're going to return back the Subversion. So are we going to maybe try to put up lethal and not know that we cannot even attack this turn? Promethean Print, and it's a lingering effect. You just can't stop it. We're going to chain our Paleozoic from the graveyard, come forth and summon in response to the Daruma. Flip everything face down, send Promethean to the grave. This is an immensely annoying deck to play against, but in a tournament, I can't imagine it being good because you're paying for transaction rollback. You're going to go into time, and then you lose because of transaction rollback if you can't finish the duel. Am I right? Like, that's just how it's going to work. For the latter, have fun. You want to have 30-minute, 1-hour duels at a time, but for a tournament, it's not going to fly. We have we still got top 16, to be fair. Unaffected, but we are still summoning from our graveyard our Promethean Princess. The Morella is being chain link blocked and negated. We're going to chain pop the Poplar in the back row to summon a Paleozoic from the grave. We're going to Link Karibo chain link block both of the Paleozoics, stopping them from summoning a Paleo from the grave. Chain link block, 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 block. And you are negated. You can't send a rollback from the deck to the grave. And let's keep on going. The Promethean must destroy at least something to reborn. We're now going to detach, search our deck for the trap that returns a transaction rollback to the grave. That's exactly what we're doing. We're going to chain a Paleozoic from the grave to reborn. And you can't really Nibiru Paleo because they're unaffected from Nibiru. To battle we go. Unaffected from Link Karibo, can't reduce. This could turn into a Zeus. Reasoning, declare level 2. That is correct. Let's speed this up. Oh, well, we got a Jack back already. Jack back is here. Link Karibo, tribute the Jack back to then trigger to look at the top 3 cards. We don't get to look at it. And the Zeus is in fact here, ready to wipe the field. Tantalizing Tune is going to be returning a banished card back into the deck. Generally, Paleozoic wins on the ladder from the opponent timing out. I think that's the main, most popular win condition. I think they went to time. Gia? Time in game 2. So War Crimes won game 1. Then game 2 went to time, and their life points are low because of transaction rollback. I didn't cheat and look at their what happened. I just assumed that's what happened. Yeah, I don't have the information on the screen anywhere. So there you go. It's a 2-0 victory. Nice try. Thank you, Paleo. At least you made it to the YouTube video, and your deck list will be on the site as a tournament topping deck list. Let's go. Thank you, YouTube, for watching this long into the video. The top 8 and grand finale will continue in the next video being posted the next day. Wait for it. It's going to be good. Let's go.